Well, hello my friends, Furtado here. Welcome back to my shop. Today I'm going to be doing something that I haven't done in a little while. It's a natural edge bowl. It's going to discuss a little about preserving what you want to preserve in a piece. In this case, let me bring you in. I got an old piece of mahogany, and the bark had a decent separation all the way through. So by putting in the sawdust first, you kind of fill up the void, but it doesn't go in very deep. It's just the outside edge. So once you finalize your turning, once you cut how thick you want the piece, you'll probably have to do the same thing from the inside of the bark. Nothing is a guarantee that the bark is going to stay, but if there's any chance of it staying, this is what you need to do. And only in a case where you already have the bark separated. If the bark is intact, if the tree was cut in the wintertime, it has a much better chance of bark staying than something that was cut in the summer months. Okay, so I'm going to leave that, and that will be good for sanding. And I'm ready to go in there and establish how thick I'm going to leave the piece and what I'm going to be doing with the piece. Now, some of you might have already seen me do this in the past. I've shown it, but in the event that you haven't, one way that I find to establish and maintain the bark as much as I can is by going in there and start my cut with a parting tool. And by doing that, it does a nice clean edge cut, already controlled of how thick you want your bark, and that way you're not pulling away with your gouge or scrape or anything like that, and less chance of the bark flying away. I can see how thick I am, and I'm going to say right about here is how thick I want to maintain this bark, this edge, about ½ inch. Now when you start going in, double up on the width of your curve. That way you can go in there a little bit easier. So by doing that, you already got an edge established all the way around. You're not going to interfere with this bark that is separated. So as soon as I clean up some of this, I'm going to dab some CA in there. do think something did fly off. But no, the bark is all intact. So I'm going to get my live center and my tool rest out of the way so I can dab this edge with CA and making sure that I maintain it in one piece. Now with a little bit of caution and care, I can go in there and scrape this up very lightly to finalize my cuts. Get that sawdust that you just threw in there, saturate it again. Now this is thin CA. Let that dry up for a minute. I don't use accelerator. Well, it's not that, it's not good, I don't have any accelerator. So therefore, I don't use it. But I'm going to maintain the live center in there as long as I can. And this is at the point that you decide, what is it that you want to do? You want a typical natural edge bowl? Do you want to do something different? Do you want to create something hollow on the bottom? Well, in this case, I just want a nice looking natural edge bowl, nothing else. This feels good all the way down. The bark is pretty tight for the most part. Nice wood grain on the inside. It's time to go in there and start sanding this up. I'm gonna start with 80 grit. Okay, the piece is sanded to 320. On this one, I'm going to try Yorkshire grit on a piece of mahogany. It's sanded pretty decent to 320. It's not a great finish, but I'm hoping that the Yorkshire grit also finalizes this sanding here. Now it's not going to be a wow factor on the shine, but it should give me a nice looking flat finish on this. Now, the noise you hear on this is I got the brake. I have this braking down a little bit aggressive. I'm going to change that parameter. It's too quick of a stop. And that's the great thing about VFDs. You can really custom it to where you want it to be. Default, it used to be like 10 seconds for it to come to a halt, and I changed that, and I got it going like in 2 seconds. Same thing with the speed up. You can have a gradual speed up, or you can make it instant if you want. The more gradual, the less stress it is on the motor. But I didn't want to wait forever for it to come to a stop. But I think I overdid it. I went a little bit too much. Mahogany, natural edge bowl. The bark was pretty loose all the way through it. If I didn't take the precautions right at the beginning, I would have not been able to save this bark. As you can see, that little line, that was actually a separation. And inside it was separated as well. And you can see that it's pretty tight against the grain all the way through. So this bark should hold up. And I mean, when I do a natural edge, I try to maintain it. The color on the bark is surprisingly, it's golden in color. I would almost say this was the golden trumpet, which it's not. It's mahogany, which I got from that neighbor that used to live nearby. But that was one of the pieces that I got from him. The finish is Obi Shine Juice, and it's fairly uniform. Mahogany, for some reason, I always seem to get a little bit blotchy. I'll have to work at that and see if I can eliminate that completely. Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next turning. And hopefully that will be very soon. Take care.